Well, happy Monday and welcome to your Monday morning metamorphosis moment. I'm so happy to have you here with me. I don't take it for granted that you join me every single Monday for your Monday morning metamorphosis moment, where we're right here every Monday on my speaker and coach page at 8 a.m. Eastern. And today I am starting a two-part series entitled We Are Family. And today I'm specifically talking about why I labeled myself as the black sheep of the family, because that's what I did for a long time. I labeled myself as the black sheep of the family. Even though I wasn't the black sheep, that's exactly how I felt. Good morning, AP. Thanks for joining. Good morning. So that's what we're talking about. We are family, but today specifically, why I labeled myself as the black sheep of the family. Again, this is going to be a two-part series. There's no way that I can get all of this in even two metamorphosis moments at 15 minutes each. So I am writing an ebook called The Chronicles of the Black Sheep. It's going to have lots of great information for those of us who have dealt with the black sheep, identifying ourselves as the black sheep. So be sure that you're connected to me. There's going to be a link above the video, or you can just send me an inbox message saying that you'd like to be added to my email list so that you can receive that ebook. Again, it's called The Chronicles of the Black Sheep, and it's really dealing with families and relationships. So I'm going to jump right in, but let me just, for those of you who don't know who I am Andrea T. Martin. I'm a life discovery expert, speaker, and coach, and it is my God-ordained mission to help women with a painful past emerge from under that and move forward in life. Not move on, but move forward. There's a difference. And it's my mission to help them move forward to become all that God has designed them to be. So that's my mission for women. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Pastor Cheryl. Thanks for joining. And so again, we're talking about why I labeled myself as a black sheep. And I decided to do this now because I'm coming up next week. It's going to be a year since my mom passed away. And in fact, when I finish this video, I'll be heading to officially close out her estate. And then also, so my mom passed away on November 13th of last year. And then my dad passed away on November 14th, 5 years ago. So our family has two anniversaries that we're going to be dealing with. And I just want to be transparent with you and say that, I loved my mom and dad. I really did love them. But the truth of the matter is that we lost a lot of precious time together because we had some family issues going on. And we wasted a lot of time sometimes we were going back and forth of whose fault was it? Who did this? Who should have did this? Who didn't do this? And particularly with me, because growing up as a young girl, as a teenager, and even as a young woman. Good morning, Tina. Thanks for joining. I made a lot of huge mistakes. I caused my mom a lot of pain. I mean, I was not the perfect child. There is no perfect child, but I took it all the way to the other end. I mean, my mom would co-sign for cars. I wouldn't pay the bill. My mom would help me get into an apartment. I wouldn't pay the rent. So evictions and car repossessions. And I wasn't just messing up my credit, but I was messing up hers. And then, we ran into issues where I knew that my mom loved me. I knew that without a shadow of a doubt. But because I had some issues that I was dealing with internally, personally, I was causing issues outwardly. So I had issues internally, but they were impacting me outwardly. And as a result, they were impacting my family relationships. And so, thank God, I'll say the good news first. My mom and I, God reconciled us back together. We didn't have a perfect relationship because, listen, the first thing I want to tell you is the only person that you can receive perfect love from is God. Now, I know some of you are going to say, I have a soulmate. I have this and I have this person and I have that person. The only perfect love is God. And so that's the first place that you need to seek love from is God. In fact, even in marriages, in order to perfectly love your spouse, you've got to receive God's perfect love first. So again, I know that my mom loved me without a shadow of a doubt, but because I had some issues on the inside, I couldn't properly receive her love. I could not see her love. And I didn't think that she loved me the way that I thought she should have loved me. See, that's another thing. We'll put people in the box and force them to love us a certain way. Well, no, it doesn't quite work that way. People love in different ways. Some people are affectionate, some people are not. Some people just show love in different ways. But I was upset. I became angry. I even became bitter. And I started, in my mind thinking my mom didn't love me. And that led down the path of a very painful relationship between my mother and I. And again, I knew she loved me, but we clashed constantly. And so we always had issues. And I remember one day telling my mom on the phone, I said, Mom, I'm the black sheep of the family. And my mom, I remember it like it was just yesterday. She said, well, I don't know who named you the black sheep of the family. You're my daughter, and I named you Andrea. And so I was like, well, no, she didn't. I just told her I was a black sheep of the family. Because, see, sometimes we put labels on ourselves and we identify as being the black sheep of the family because we've messed up. Good morning, Sharon. We've messed up so bad, and that causes us to have guilt and shame. And if you don't deal with those issues at the root and get to the bottom of why you're having those issues, it turns into anger and it turns into bitterness, and it just, it piles on things, and you feel rejected. You feel unloved. And even with me, I have a brother that I love with everything within me. That's my little brother, even though he's taller than me. But you know what? Me and my brother had issues. We did not get along. I was like, you mom's favorite. You always getting away with stuff. She always doing this with you. And y'all got a special relationship. Well, their relationship was different from how my relationship was with my mother. And because I was dealing with some internal issues, our relationship wasn't the greatest. So the first tip that I always want to give you, and I think I gave it to you already, was there is no perfect love. Only God's love is perfect. And in order to have a successful relationship, in order to have a good, healthy family relationship, you have to first accept God's perfect love. So that's the first tip I want to give you. The second tip is stop labeling yourself. It stops right here today. You are no longer going to classify yourself as the black sheep of the family. You're going to accept your past. You messed up. You made some mistakes. But that's where it stopped. You've got to acknowledge what you've done, confess it, forgive yourself, forgive others. Wherever forgiveness is needed, you've got to begin to forgive yourself and forgive others within the family, within relationships. It's time to have a conversation, and not a conversation because, like I said, me and my mom would have conversations, and the first thing that she would say that I didn't agree with, I was like, nope, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And listen, we didn't get very far because she was trying to talk, I was trying to talk. So I want to invite families and relationships to have a conversation, but do more listening rather than talking. You don't always have to be right. Listen, acknowledge what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Just be quiet sometimes. Be quiet. Listen. The Bible says study to be quiet. It's not easy. It takes practice. And so eventually I learned to listen to my mom to understand how she was feeling, the hurt that she was feeling, that I had brought upon her. Now, I'm not going to say that my mom, was a perfect mom, but what I want to encourage us to do is we've got to begin to work on ourselves first. We always want to point the finger at the other person. See, she must be adopted. I can't even believe she did that. She in our family, but we don't claim her. She's not really a part of our family because she got issues. Do you know what she did years ago? You know what she used to do? Oh, and she don't get along with her mom, and she's professing Christianity. Oh yeah, I went there. Because we, even as Christians, or whatever your religion is, you've got to begin to show love. And you don't always have to be right. You can agree to disagree. A lot of times right now, I see people that have different lifestyles than what I prefer to, what I believe in living, how I believe in living. But that doesn't stop me from loving them. Again, you don't have to, point the finger and say, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, and just, make them feel guilty and ashamed of their past or their lifestyle. Love on them. Love on them, okay? So again, accept God's perfect love and then stop labeling yourself. As of today, you are no longer the black sheep of the family. Well, somebody on here is saying, I used to say I was a black sheep of the family, but not anymore. But some of those issues you have carried into your adult life, like I did. I carried a lot of issues into my adult life. And so I had to step back and, deal with my past so that I could begin to move forward. So stop labeling yourself as a black sheep. Okay, that's the next thing I want you to do. And then listen, every family has issues. They might pretend like they don't have issues, but I guarantee you somewhere in that family, there's some issues. And I don't want you to take the blame for it. So recognize that every family has issues, but you've got to begin to deal with the issues and deal with the core problem of, what's causing the issues within the family. But never, ever forget love. Never, ever forget love. That's so important, because if you don't deal with it, it can pass on to the next generation. Both of my daughters are on here. Anybody that knows me knows I love my daughters. I love them to life. But we had issues, and I know they don't mind me saying that. We had issues. I was becoming that protective, overbearing mother, trying to control, what they did and how they lived. Yeah, I did it because I dealt with some of that with my mother. And so we had to nip it in the bud. And now, my daughters and I, our relationships are better. Our love is even greater. So not only did I have issues with my mom, but I was beginning to have issues with my children. And I had to nip that thing in the bud and let my children live their lives. I can't live my lives through them. They've got to live their lives. So you have to give them freedom. But again, every family has issues. They may fake as if they don't, but every family has issues. But I want you today, right now, if you're not already doing it, start loving on your family. No matter what is going on within the family, start loving on them. It's time out to only seeing families at the funeral saying, we got to do better, y'all. So-and-so's done passed on, and the only time we come together is at the funeral. It's time out for that. It's time to love while they are alive. They used to always say in the church, give me my flowers while I'm alive so that I can smell them and enjoy them. I want us to begin to come together as a family and love on each other, not always beating each other over the head. I can't believe she did this and she did that. And she messed up. She can't be a part of our family. She must be adopted. Because, I felt adopted. When I identified myself as the black sheep of the family, I felt adopted. I felt like I didn't fit in. Again, my mother and my brother had this wonderful relationship. And I could have had the same thing. But I chose to just be bitter and angry and jealous. And it just impacted our relationships all the way around. But when I allowed God to work on me, I stopped pointing the finger at my mom. I stopped pointing the finger at my brother. I stopped pointing the finger at my children. And I allowed God during my metamorphosis process to work on me. He had to deal with my heart. I wasn't a black sheep with black fur or wool on the outside. I had some black parts in my heart. That was the issue. That was the real issue. I had to deal with the black parts of my heart where there was not love, where, there was not unconditional love. And if somebody wronged me, then I had an attitude and, me and my mom would go without talking, wasting precious time that I will never, ever be able to get back. But again, thank God that he healed our relationship. So when my mother passed away, I had no regrets. I was able to be her caretaker and take care of her and love on her. And our last days together were absolutely wonderful. We had good times and we reflected. We would often laugh like, my mom would say, you was crazy. And she was like, and I was crazy too. And she would admit that she wasn't the perfect mother. And I would admit that I wasn't the perfect daughter. And things, just when she passed away, we knew that we loved each other. And so I don't want it to be said too late for you. Don't just come together as a family for holidays or for funerals or for weddings, whatever the occasion is. It's time for us as families to come come together in love. Somebody may not be living the life that you think that they should live. They may be messing up, but we've got to show love. So stop identifying yourself as the black sheep. Begin to accept God's perfect love. Love yourself. Practice forgiveness. Practice it daily. Practice it. Amber, you always got to be so deep. Don't let it be said too late. But it's true. Don't let it be said too late. Because although I cried at my mom's funeral, there was nothing. She couldn't hear me. She was sleeping at that point. She was sleeping in Jesus. So again, take time. Drop the label of the black sheep. You are not the scapegoat for the issues in the family. And you've got to begin to accept God's perfect love. Love yourself. Practice forgiveness. And know that every family has issues. They don't always share it, but every family has issues. So I want you to understand that. Don't use yourself as a scapegoat for why you have a family that has issues. It's not all your fault. But work on you. Allow God to work on you and work on your heart. Not because you're a black sheep, but because you may have some dark places in your heart that God needs to create. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. So ask God to work on you. And if everybody in the family works on themselves, oh, what a wonderful family we would have. How about that? So listen. That is our Monday morning metamorphosis moment for today. This is going to be a 2-part series. I'll be back next week talking about this again. I can't do it justice in 15 minutes, and I've got to leave. I'm going to close my mom's estate out, and I'm doing that in love and in pride because I loved her, and I want to encourage you to love your family, love your friends. Do it now before it's too late. Again, that's your Monday morning metamorphosis moment. I'm Andrea T. Martin. Connect with me. I'm writing an ebook, The Chronicles of the Black Sheep, that you'll want to share. I promise you it's going to bless you. It's time for us to stop labeling ourselves as the black sheep. Stop labeling others in our family, in our circle as the black sheep. It's time out for that. It's time to show love before it's too late. All right? Go throughout this week, show love. And, you're no longer the black sheep as of this moment right now. No more black sheep. All right? Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.